All right, so real quick for council tonight, I'm going to ask council on homelessness to look at the safe ground topic. It's something that we've talked about for a year and a half. We've made some progress in certain areas, but I still believe there's important work to be done. So I'm going to ask staff tonight to bring back some possibilities, 3 site locations or more of what can be considered a timeline for that to be considered, as well as clear roles and responsibilities. So again, I think that's the next natural step for us to take in terms of safe ground. Again, this is an item that's a difficult topic, but transitional housing is something that's going to be a part of the portfolio of options that we provide. Certainly permanent housing, there's always going to be a need for emergency housing. I think the safe ground proponents deserve to have us discuss this publicly before council and hopefully identify a clear path to be considered to get to a conclusion that hopefully council and the county could come to agreement on. So that's my topic of homelessness. Other thing is, I think I brought up last week for Ryan and others, I talked about education. I think as most of you know, my passion is education. It's something I feel very strongly about. There's no way we're gonna have a great school, a great city without great schools. And there's such an interdependentness between public safety and economic development and certainly education. They all go together. So as a mayor, even though it's not in my job description, to me the children are our most valuable asset. And when you look at the previous years of test scores, the majority of our schools are not meeting the academic targets for California. That's not acceptable. If you think about it, there are people right now who come to Sacramento, they live in Roseville, or they live in El Dorado or Folsom, they live in Elk Grove, they live in some other part of our metropolitan area because their school systems are better there. We need to be competitive and we need to have world-class schools. And if I'm lucky enough to be mayor for 2 terms, I'd like to look back at the course of 8 years and say one of the things that we've done over 8 years is improve our public school system. And that really starts with the things I've done in the past. Certainly last year I've been able to lobby state legislators. We raised money for Stand Up. We have a relationship with Sac City Schools and Twin Rivers in terms of bringing more arts to the classroom. But the next natural evolution is certainly school board candidates. So there's going to be school board candidates. We have 10 who are vying for 3 seats, which I think is very important. I'm proud of that. Normally we have people as incumbents running unopposed, but we have 10 candidates, which I think is good for everyone. And for me, in the spirit of being fair, I want to sit down with every candidate. I want to hear what issues are important for them. Some are seeking my endorsement, and even if they're not, I'd like to sit down with everyone so I can kind of hear their perspective. Certainly some of the questions are, why are you running for school board? What is your experience and knowledge base in terms of educational issues? What is your track record of success, regardless of whether it's education or some other area? Or what proclivity do you have in terms of being a change agent? Those are some of the kind of just general questions. But for me, there's some more specific questions that, when I think about evaluating a school board member, will come down to these issues. One, do they put children first? Kids come first. That's philosophical. It has to be first and foremost, meaning high expectations for children, being willing to make tough choices for children. Another area that would be important is accountability for results. That are we willing to assume personal responsibility and accountability for results? Are we willing to make sure that our low-performing schools are being addressed? Are we willing to do everything that we can to say results do matter? We have to focus on them. Another item is performance-based decisions. I think we need school board members who are willing to make decisions based on performance. And that's in every aspect, whether it's budget and how we allocate our resources, whether it's what schools should be open or not open, whether it's teacher placement and staffing decisions. Performance-based decisions is critical. School choice and competition. I think every neighborhood, regardless, and every child should have access to good schools. I think we need public school choices and competition. It should not be a bad thing. And then lastly, for me, in terms of school board members, I believe that we need great teachers in every classroom, and we need great principals at every school. and what are we doing to recruit, retain effective leaders and teachers? What are we doing to create an environment where we're compensating them, professionally developing them? These are, again, critical things, I think, for our school and our cities in terms of our system. So I'll be sitting down with candidates over the next couple of weeks, and then soon thereafter be endorsing or get behind candidates that I think would be the best in terms of making sure that they as a school board member are making sure they have the right oversight, certainly creating the right policy, but ultimately results and philosophy for our city. And then the last thing I'd say really quickly is August 17th, Greenwise, Gavin Newsom will be in Sacramento, and he'll be the featured speaker at the Greenwise Initiative. And I think most of you know it's about economic development and job creation. It's about improving our environment, and that's what this initiative has really been about. So, open to questions.
Yeah, Mayor, starting with the safe ground.